Hey, Daryl Crook here with Fishing for Inspiration. The resurrection of Jesus is the most important event to Christianity. If the resurrection is true, Christianity is true. If the resurrection is not true, Christianity is worthless. Many historians would agree that there is very good historical evidence for the resurrection, yet they refuse to believe. They refuse to believe because to believe in the resurrection of Jesus would require them to believe in something outside of the natural material world. I did a talk on the resurrection on Easter, and I want to dig into that deeper at some point. But because believing in anything outside of the material world is the biggest roadblock to believing in the resurrection for so many, I want to first do a series of short talks on intelligent design. This one will be on Big Bang cosmology. There was a beginning. And I want to start off by sharing a quote. Of course, it's counterintuitive that you can get something from nothing. Of course, common sense doesn't allow you to get something from nothing. Something pretty mysterious had to give rise to the origin of the universe. Who do you think said that? You might be surprised to find out that it's Richard Dawkins, biologist and one of the most outspoken atheists of our time. Evidence that there was a beginning of the universe began to surface in the 1920s in the field of astronomy, when Edwin Hubble, regarded as one of the most important astronomers of all time, discovered that the galaxies are moving away from each other. The universe is expanding. Astronomers realize that when you go back in time, when you wind the clock backwards, the universe would have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where there was no universe. It had a beginning. The universe is not eternal. In 1929, Einstein was invited to the Palomar Observatory by Edwin Hubble. Einstein came out after seeing evidence of the expanding universe and said, "I now see the necessity of the beginning." I know, horrible accent, but I couldn't pass it up. I've heard it said that people tend to stay in the belief system in which they were brought up, and statistically that's true. You might be surprised to find out, however, that this holds true for every different type of belief, not just those who are considered religious. That's right, even those who are atheist, naturalist, materialist, whatever term you prefer, they also tend to stay in the belief system in which they were brought up. I know, some people would argue that these are not belief systems. But if you believe it, it is your belief system. At one time, many scientists fought against the idea that there was a beginning because it went against their belief system. Astronomer Arthur Eddington said, "Philosophically, the notion of a beginning of the present order is repugnant to me. I should like to find a genuine loophole. I simply do not believe the present order of things started off with a bang. The expanding universe is preposterous. It leaves me cold." Eddington was letting his beliefs cloud his thinking, but at least he was honest enough to say that his thoughts were based on his philosophy, not scientific evidence. Eddington was not alone. Many others fought the idea that there was a beginning because they knew that it had theistic or at least religious implications. At one time, materialists called the Big Bang just religion disguised as science. They didn't want there to be a beginning. Calling it the Big Bang started out as a joke. Cosmologist Sir Fred Hoyle coined the phrase the Big Bang in ridicule because he rejected the idea that there was a beginning. Today, all or at least most scientists agree that the universe is not indefinitely old. It had a beginning. The general theory of relativity says all time is relative to matter. Space and time are properties of our universe. Therefore, space, time, and matter had a beginning. That's a problem for materialists. Why? Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Nothing can come from nothing. No matter how you try to redefine nothing or say that nothing has to be something, you still can't get something from nothing. And since there was a beginning to space, time, and matter, you have to look outside the material world. So what's left? Spirit? God? At the very least, Big Bang cosmology, or whatever term you might like to use when referring to the beginning of the universe, points to a cause outside of space, time, and matter. Think about that. And I'll see you on my next talk when I talk about the fine-tuning of the universe.